Aqua men and women, it is like good to see you here. I really hope you're going to be clicking more to get your reading faster next time around. Like being the sign, what is it, number 6 or 7? I think we can do better. Keep in mind that I'm really dealing with a very difficult YouTube algorithm, which in a sense only kind of like pushes channel that have like 5 to 10 minute segments, and reading like this of course is not kind of like falling into this, so they basically put me at the end of the line. So the readers who basically give you monthly forecast in 10 minutes or 15 minutes and less somehow being rated higher. So I really need you to click in order to kind of like help me, and I really hope this is something I can ask in turn for, like I'm in doing this. So let's see the jumpers. The Hanged Woman or the Hanged Man, whichever way you want to take it, and this would be us, Queen of Swords reversed. I'm really wondering if there is like some kind of shift, if there is like some kind of movement, and let me try to zoom this here a little bit. A movement seems to be after, it sounds like that some of us got really bitchy. Yes, I do know sounds sexist, but I cannot think of the better word over here, and this is like both men and women, because Queen of Swords reversed, ooh, she is Judge Judy. She is really no fun. This will be the person who kind of like has blinders on, who just like thinks, well, my way or the highway, and is like really not taking in consideration that other people are bringing different strengths and coming from different upbringings, and not everybody has been given the same start and same chance in life. You know, they even did a little kind of like movie about that, but I'm not going to digress here. Like Queen of Swords could be cruel and could be distant, and overly emotional. This is not technically the quality that we really have, and this is really how we get on a really bad day. So if this is jumping up and it's followed with a Hangman, it really tells me that we are going through a severe shift over here. The Hangman is actually representing God, and this is like the situation where we get and we say, all right, let me take a look from your point of view, right? It is indication that we are like ending these old ways, and we are sort of like releasing restrictions, right? Like something maybe has been holding us back in life. I also feel that some of you have been going, well, this is the way it is, these are the cards I got, I have to play with this deck, and this deck is like, I know, missing a joker or something like that. And it's that kind of like sense of resignation to kind of like things that are going on, and then you're getting that Aquarian rebelliousness inside, and you go, wait a minute, since when am I a loser? And yeah, sure, get cranky, but I should not just accept it, I should really deal with this. So I really think there is like some kind of like new perspective and sacrifice and surrender if you wish, but there is going to be some kind of release. And I really think that if it was an anger, whether it was expressed or not expressed, it's going to be dealt with, it's going to be released. And this is really good, because you have to understand that sadness is exactly the same emotion as anger. Just like one is like turned inward, another one is outward. In a sense, actually anger is better. Sure, it's not better if you're on the receiving end, but it is better for you, because I really think sadness is like one notch under anger, so you really need to shift it forward, right? So, you know, I mean, there is like talking about some kind of illumination, maybe like, I mean, we are being stuck in how to go about the things and in which direction to take them, and you know, like, I mean, well, I do know I need to change things, but how? And it can be a little bit of a feeling of being stuck, but maybe you should just kind of like, if nothing else, just create your own diary of things that you are doing, and that way you can go back and analyze. Sometimes we are not even aware of it. I watched that British show, and I don't know what it was. It was something about weight loss, And so they were following these people. It was nothing like American, where they kind of like, and by the way, they're being sued, these American shows, What Was the Biggest Loser, because it was like something unsustainable given and high carb diet. But in the British show, they actually follow them to really reveal if they have any bad habits. So for example, husband and wife are both eating healthy, and next thing you see is, oh my god, he's having beer with his buddies and he didn't even count it, and so on and so forth. So I'm really saying, like, I mean, not tracking the food in this case, but tracking emotions, tracking your mood, tracking how you felt, and I really think that can actually really help. Well, Temperance is reversing over here, and Seven of Swords. This is clearly that something feels like that we are on the receiving end. We are feeling unaccomplished. We are feeling, oh my gosh, I cannot get a break, for God's sake, and people are against me. It almost like looks like that maybe even though something has been very righteous, it started to be a grudge. And now this grudge is bothering you as well, but it's really tough to get out of it. So there is like some kind of frustration. There is like imbalance this month, I really have to say. The Seven of Swords generally in the other decks to me suggests betrayal. Not in this deck, because in this deck she doesn't appear to be stealing anything. In fact, you know, in this deck, I mean, she is trying to almost like establish her own power. Sevens are very spiritual. This is like basically 2 times 7, even though numerology is not looking at it. It looks looking at 5, and then 5 and 7 would be 12, which would go back to the Hangman that we just had, right? So it again gives me this feeling of, it's going to feel like I'm in salt shaker, that you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, you know, everything that has been fixed in my life is no longer fixed. And this is going to be actually extra hard on us, because as a fixed sign, we kind of like create structures in our life, we create rules, and if that equilibrium is being shaken, then we actually suffer as a result of it. Anything else that wants to come out? Oh my goodness, I'm not supposed to treat you guys with this extra kind of like cards, because you didn't come in the first 6. I think you're the 7th, but it is what it is. The Hierophant reversed, Knight of Pentacles reversed, and also Page of Swords, Page of Cups reversed. I'm still learning these cards. So he's looking down, like there is like this humility. I really think this card reversed really describes and represents us. The Hierophant reversed is really talking about thinking outside of the box. You have been trained, you have been drilled, but something has to be done, and all of a sudden, no, I have to do it differently. So I don't know, maybe you're going to see, since I'm Aquarius, different things showing up on the channel, right? Maybe you're going to see kind of like trying different things. You are already seeing that in my case. These two things are telling me that we will be questioning people around us. We'll be really questioning if they're true friends, and especially those who are not nice to us. It almost like sounds like that maybe some people have been, one thing we don't like is being fake, right? And like maybe some people just have been very syrupy, and it's okay at work, right? Like this is basically the nature of it. You're just trying to tolerate the day and get out of it, right? So you see, this King of Cups generally is like some kind of like lovey-dovey offer, right? But it can be also about, you know, us observing how somebody is getting accolades and somebody is being pushed forward for basically no reason other than they have been super sweet, and they clearly maybe don't have all of those abilities that we do have, that in particular can apply to work, because we have Hierophant, and Hierophant can also be a boss. It could be somebody who doesn't favor us. So it could be like that we need to apply different strategy, because we kind of like encounter immovable wall. And when Hierophant shows up, that immovable wall is very high. so high in the sky that when we look up, we really don't see where the end is, because it's somewhere in the clouds, but we are really not certain if it really ends. So it can be like a jack and a bean. We can maybe try to climb it, but it's really steep. So when Page of Cups kind of like comes over here, it's really warning us about displaying any kind of like impulsivity or immaturity or even apathy. So if we kind of like deal with the situation, which kind of like does look to me that it might be some kind of betrayal, and it might be simply that this is warning us, hey, you have been lazy, get off your lazy butt, kind of keep doing the stuff and establish some rules, right? Because some people really like Hierophant. I am not one of them, unfortunately. In fact, I have to just look at this card and I am rebelling because I'm Aquarius, right? So the Hierophant really belongs to Taurus, and this belongs also to Earth sign, even though I usually see a Knight of Pentacles as Aquarius, believe it or not, because to me this is a friend. But I don't know, somebody is not a friend anymore. Maybe there is going to be a huge argument with someone who you just didn't see happening. Somebody's just not going to be on your side for no reason whatsoever, right? So yes, this can be simply some kind of like rebelliousness, but it could be disobedience. It could be simply observation or some kind of like hypocrisy. And you're going to say, you know what, I just really don't want to be a part of it. Sometimes we just want to get along and we really don't say things. Sometimes we cannot say things, especially, for example, if it is a company kind of like situation, then you kind of like not necessarily keep your mouth shut, but yeah, you're not rocking the boat. It's going to be different, guys. You'll be thinking, what is it? What is it that really bothers me about it? I really feel some of you are going to become self-employed and do really well, because you're going to be really eager to make a difference, not just to make profits, not only to break even, but to really make a difference. So you're going to take your job seriously, and I really don't give a you know, like what I wanted to say, even if you're cleaning tables or picking up garbage, because it's going to be different. I have this perlator guy who used to come over here to my door, and he would always sing when I opened the door, and it was like always Saturday morning. He only worked on weekends. And one day he said, well, you know, I have been, you know, promoted and I'm not going to be on the route. I was like so sad. I was glad for him, but I was like very sad. But you see how the job, he took it from the regular job to making a difference, and I'm sure this is going to help. There she's making appearance again. And why did they have to screw up our card so badly? She's hunched. She looks like she is not having a neck, not having a spine, but nothing of a sort is true for our Queen of Swords. This card, if I forget this, kind of like how she holds her head, it's almost like ting, like, you know, like I mean that you see in the cartoons when cat gets all kind of like interested. I really think that some of us or some of you are thinking about the past things and past sorrows. Some of us are really thinking about love. Some of us are thinking about not one, but two, possibly people in their past, and you are re-examining, and you're wondering, were they my soulmate? Were they my twin flame? And it's kind of like really weird. I almost like feel that one of them is going to really pop up as an initial thought. And the more you'll start thinking about it, the more you're going to realize that the other one that is like looming in the shadows is actually that one that you're going to realize, well, maybe that one got away, or I let that one go. But you might actually send a note to this person. It's going to find them puzzled. They will think about it. They will remember how harsh we were. but they will also remember how much effort we placed in this relationship. They will also understand that for us to really communicate with them after we kind of like have everything said and done is possibly really sign of maturity. But they will also understand that we're not going to take any crap from them either. So it's going to be lots of delays. They might come back. They might talk to us. Like the Eight of Wands is really like talking about love arrows. It is about communication. It is about, hey, how are you? I was just thinking about you, right? Or when you get this like text out of nowhere, oh, that's awesome, right? But this is about confusion. It could be about mistakes. It could be, well, maybe you are ready to talk about it, but I am not ready, or I don't want to. Not everybody's on the same kind of like, path all the time, and this is something to be taken in account. But this doesn't say they're going to cut us off. It's just saying there is going to be some energy over here. Oh, it's almost like an opening. I still like eight of wands when it reverses. So let's see where it takes. Oh, come on. Like what? Aquarius is going to get master reading? Again, Seven of Swords. And now Ace of Pentacles. Now we have this Page of Wands, and it's almost like a boy and who is going to ride his wand and pretend it's a horse. But then we have the Three of Swords. It's almost the same, guys, that I was just kind of like picking up on. To me, this is really talking about someone that could have been a commitment with. And I do see here fire signs. I see air signs and possibly also earth signs. And it is like something really, really hard to shake it off. And even if you do not have somebody in the past, and let's say an established relationship, maybe there was like something you wanted to build and you wanted to go in that direction, right? But really, in this case, in this combination, that can kind of like mean like somebody had to leave certain things behind. And instead of like saying like somebody betrayed you, it almost like feels like that we felt we betrayed ourselves and we start morphing or becoming somebody completely else. And this is not how we really wanted to build our life. Maybe we felt like, somebody shot us in both legs, maybe both arms, maybe even in the head for some of us, because I can see here pain has been happening. Lots and lots and lots of pain. Look at this card. Isn't this deck, this is horrifying card to start with, but we see an angel on fire here. So hey, technically, angel should be good thing, no? So why is the other one so hesitant? There is like some medicine that has to be taken, has to be swallowed, that bitter pill, right, proverbial, that they are telling us about. But in this situation, ooh, she just doesn't want it. But look what she's really offered. I don't know if you can see it here. Oh, come on. There are lilies and a dove. So there is peace of mind. That's what I was just seeing in the beginning. There's like something, and I don't know if this is a heater, kind of like really can't comprehend what this red thing here truly is, right? So I really think this is like something that had to be done in order to grow, and it is about painful decisions and like completely being taken out of some hope. Hope, the star is our card. That's where we are pretty much indestructible, and because we are indestructible, like it's a superpower, right? But with superpowers, you get lots of people who are trying to penetrate through our shield, and it's freaking painful. Like, aren't you guys tired of pulling these swords out? But this is exactly what's happening here, because this card here talks about forgiveness and recovery and clarity and introspection. And there are lots of things here to unpack, lots of things that are really happening, and maybe this energy is still very young, but we are like clearly moving forward. I also think that maybe this kind of attitude or certain things that we've been through made us a little bit jaded, maybe made us like fear other people, maybe made us shy away from relationships or shy away from even friendships. But I really think this is going to be one of those turnaround months. So we are talking now, so until mid-October already, right? So my Aquarius, I'm just starting the reading and I was supposed to start finishing. Stop here and like it, okay? Got it? Kidding. Whoa. 5 of Swords. Now that's a very tricky card to interpret. So let me just point out certain things to you. This is not the typical, this is Slay the Dragon card over here. Not very typical 5 of Swords, because I don't know if you can see it, these two dudes are running in fear of this dragon, but not this dude. And he is using both of his hands to kind of like try to get himself out of this grip. But does he look to you worried? Not at all. In fact, even if I look at him, he almost is dressed like a dragon himself, and he's quite confident that he can actually turn things around, right? So that usually card is the one that shows up when you had a falling out or some kind of disagreement or conflict, and like you're walking away with shock or away with a sense of some kind of like loss, right? You might be upset, you might be resentful over kind of heated words. Some of us maybe wish, well, I wish I kind of like behave differently, right? It's kind of like the card that talks about bad blood, right? But even if you won the argument, there wasn't that meeting of the minds. There wasn't win-win situation, because you're starting to realize, okay, so I'm the one, I showed you, but there's so many things that right now you're realizing you will be missing, right? So that battle is like something that cost us trust, or maybe even isolated us, right? So this card really talks about picking up pieces and kind of like putting that conflict behind us, right? But it's going to be kind of like more difficult than we thought. This dragon, after all, kind of like has lots of powers, right? So we do have, however, underneath these 4 wands. I just want to see which one is the first major that comes over here. No, that's an ace. That's an ace. Oh my goodness, how much longer? Oh, there is Chariot reversed. That's right. It is about battles, after all, because also 4 of Wands is saying this is one of those challenging situations that is really asking us to really, grow. Like, I mean, we really need to kind of like pick our battles over here. Maybe, I mean, we are air sign, we might be tempted to fight every conflict just to get their way. I mean, we are also fixed sign, meaning we are stubborn, right? But we might also feel like we have to defend everything when we are challenged or we feel threatened, right? But maybe choosing our battles wisely, kind of like, it's much better kind of like approach than really engaging in kind of like every disagreement. So I really think this entire month is about peaceful existence, and also about our interpersonal relationships. And I really think like this is all over talking about us needing to come out stronger out of everything, needing to slay the dragon, needing to kind of like understand, okay, so while I'm slaying the dragon, I shouldn't be arguing over something else. And yeah, like, sure, there's like peppers on my plate are not perfect. Kind of like lots of things are going to be over here, right? So keep in mind this, if you're dragged into some conflict this month, keep this in mind if you already had some kind of conflict and now you're trying to see, you know, how can you smooth it out. And don't think in terms, well, I will smooth it out by steamrolling over kind of a thing. That's not more going to actually really help, because the more that, you know, the longer that you brood, like, I mean, the more that you're trying to prove, oh, I'm the right, the more difficult is going to become possibility or inability to kind of like fix this relationship. So be ready to say that you were wrong and make amends. There is no sense in even trying to justify your behavior. Just let it go and move on. You know what they say? Just lay low and the storm will pass by. Also, like, I mean, another way of looking at it is to kind of like look for common grounds with those who have been, maybe, like, I mean, you had arguments, or maybe even seek kind of like, I would say, seek forgiveness, right? So otherwise, guys, this is going to be really challenging communication. We are one of those communication signs, and our job on this planet is to communicate well and to lead. We are like not sign number 1 like Aries. We are sign 1-1, 2 ones, leader of the leaders. So we cannot do that effectively if we do not have our communication skills properly developed. So this is kind of like one of those calls, which usually kind of like shows this is kind of a month where I guess we're going to be challenged for the greater things. So guys, you know, slay this dragon, but maybe instead of slaying this dragon, maybe we can just offer a chocolate and just say, chocolate, and, like, I mean, show that you're sorry. It doesn't have to be hat in hand, but let's see what happens here. So we are starting with like the 6 of Cups. There's like something going on. There is like something that has happened. Like, we are pulling in the past, and it's almost, this is not Mercury retrograde kind of past. Mercury retrograde makes us feel very irrational. All of a sudden, like Joe Schmo we were dating, you know, in grade 6 seems to be a good solution, and it's just like almost like we are in some kind of like temporary, like, I mean, haze, and we are really not thinking properly, right? But this is a different type. So this is not nostalgia, it's rather examination. It's maybe a deeper kind of like insight, in deeper looking into who we are and how we are dealing with things, right? Maybe we are continuously getting disappointed, and then we are finally realizing, so yeah, I am maybe a little bit naive, and that's why this is happening. Maybe I should just approach this differently and kind of like be a little bit more, I guess, so sophisticated, right, in how I really look at things. So there's like also 9 of Wands here reversed. I really think we are dealing with what I really cover in my karma reading, with a very strong codependent energy. But I also feel we are kind of like shaking it off, right? This 9 of Wands is generally to me saying that maybe some of us are suffering from severe anxieties. Stress really gets to us, and then we really don't want to be around people, or maybe we kind of like get a really harsh edge. Remember that Queen of Swords that kind of like jumped out of it? Because to me this is all talking about recovery, and our perception is going to be better. We are going to become objective in how kind of like we look at things and what we are doing, right? It's almost like some kind of like elevation. There is like no more, oh, what I will do, which 9 of Swords kind of like indicates a paralyzed, kind of like mentally paralyzed behavior. No, not such thing. And look at this, 8 of Cups. And why is she squeezing a dragon? 8 of Cups is about looking what is best for us, looking after number 1. We often forget to do that, right, Aquarians? We are so busy saving the world. We are so busy helping everybody, that's when this codependent pattern shows up. Because we don't realize that people don't really want to be saved, especially when we go ta-da, like a superhero. We showed up and I'm going to take you over the freaking road, over this puddle, and they go, okay, psycho, get away from me, kind of a thing, right? And we don't know like what the hell happened. I really want to help you. So this is really saying that at this stage, you know, we're kind of like losing an interest, and it's kind of like withdrawal. It's almost like it's kind of like changing the freaking tune entirely. I am already getting a whiff. We are just in the beginning of this reading. We're getting a whiff where this is really going this particular month. That this slaying the dragon really means addressing something deeply buried in us, and this could be buried for decades over here. It's like one of those, you know, voices that we have, and maybe something is like protective voice, but maybe this protection makes no sense anymore. So you really need to kind of like now embark and try to figure out where and what is kind of like our direction and what we really need to change in our lives. The past energies, yes. You know, it's pretty bad energy of Nine of Swords, even though it was reversed. So it's kind of like getting there, like we are like clearing our head. We are able to look up and get up and do stuff. It's not one of those days, but this is still improvement over this card, right? It's kind of like looking back. We are really examining. We are using our analytical mind to really examine, okay, so wait a minute, is that the plan that I had for myself? Is that all the swords and everybody could collect? Everybody's in my back. This card also tells me that we have been through, this to me is a card of betrayal. This to me is the card of basically defeat and endings. To me, this is like everybody being around us. Everybody. It's kind of like feeling, I'm a square peg in the round hole. Like, how did I end here? Well, that's why I saw choosing new people, choosing new friends, kind of like going in a different direction. Like Ten of Swords it's very interesting card, even though it kind of like shows somebody who is at the end of its wits, kind of like, I just cannot deal with that, or literally kind of like removed. Maybe you have lost your job, maybe you have lost your partner, maybe you have lost the ability to even pull yourself up by the bootstraps, right? So not everything is the way we want it to turn out in life, and that's why we are really removing Peter Pan, you know, wings over here, or shoes, whichever way you really want to look at it. You know, it was like something that really caused trauma over here for us. Maybe it was even a matter of survival, that we really had to do something, and if we had time to think through it and do it, maybe we wouldn't do it differently. Maybe we would do it differently, but in this particular case we haven't. And there's lots of thinking, and it's thinking about our emotions. So yes, it just takes an air sign to understand that. Yes, we are like literally, clinically, in a cold way, examining our emotions and asking ourselves, okay, how did I get over here? And what is it going to take for me to get out? And how will I get out? So, do you know what is the good news? When you're in the bottom, when everybody's around you, when everybody's against you, or everybody's just laughing at you, it cannot get worse than that. It can only get better, right? So remember that. So let's see what kind of goals will form in our own head this month, September, and we are getting like card number 9, 9th month. So Hermit. Hermit is the card that most readers are connecting to Virgo. Not many people realize that Hermit is very much Aquarius. We sometimes kind of like just lock ourselves in, even in a toilet if we can, at work, just to get this like minute or two, like a minute on our own, right? Hermit is like about wisdom, and Hermit is also one of the cards that represents God, and it represents sort of like needing the time for reflection. And this is exactly not being hasty, not kind of like jumping and have this knee-jerk reaction, because we do have ability to really quickly tell somebody where to go, right? So this is kind of like about being calm and being reflective, but the Hermit came reversed. So be careful that you don't misunderstand. I'm really thinking that, you know, somebody's going to be really stubborn over here, that we do have a really easy way out by just simply saying we are wrong, or I wish I didn't do it, you know, something so freaking simple. And instead, some of us will go as far as to isolate ourselves and kind of look foolish and withdraw, like, I mean, to the extent of maybe even feeling depression. So we are going to see how this really measures against what I'll be challenged with in this particular month. So let's see what is imminently ahead of us. So the options are going to narrow down, right? In this like 7 of Cups, we're examining our side of personality where we are kind of like opening new things. This is like, just let's say we are shopping for vacation. Oh, where will we go? What will I do? Well, this place is great. Well, it's expensive, right? Oh, look at this room. It's like so nice. I like these pink sheets. Oh yeah, but they have lots of bugs. Kind of a story, right, that we see over here. So this is kind of like exploration, and sometimes can be freaking exhausting. So this is it. Okay, this is all that you have. I'll take it, kind of a thing, right? So don't be overwhelmed with choices if they're offered. Don't think that you have to keep looking and researching and whatnot. This is pretty cool. That is really talking about, okay, look, solutions are actually rather simple. Remember, we did have a 7 before, as well as 7 of Swords, and so there's another 7. It's going to be a very spiritual month, guys. Very, very, very. So let's see, in the root of our existence, in the root of our soul, what we really need to deal with. Well, Ace of Pentacles. This is a really good one. We had this one appearing. That's what this is really talking about, a new process. Look, we have all these endings, 9s and 10s, and like 8s, 8, 9, 9, 10. Like, I mean, this was all about, okay, let's finish it off. Let's go home, kind of a thing, right? Ace of Pentacles to me really talks about a very strong energy, right? And it is about what can I make out of it. Look at how big and strong Pentacle this is. There is like this big gateway, and it is simply kind of like the process. And it is simply the process that really means maybe slowing down a little bit. We tend to go and move very fast. We kind of like very get determined, and then we just like run out of steam, right? So this is basically about also foundations. Pentacles are about like a really you know, material and practical world, right? So, you know, this is talking about how do I get rich kind of card, really. But you need to remember that true riches are those of the spirit, right? And swords, we are swords, air signs, we are the spirit, right? So yes, this clearly talks about how do I position myself. I want all of that, but I don't want to be superficial about it. As I told you, you're going to take your freaking job to a much different level. It's going to be redefinition of what it can be done, right? So it's going to feel, yes, it has to have economic, but it has to have moral value in all of that things, right? Ace of Pentacles are clearly long-term growth. You really want something, but you don't want something at every cost, right? So it's about this new beginnings of some sort, right? And it could be a form of abundance. You're going to feel pretty good, but I guess with all this like time that we are going to either isolate ourselves from the others, we can as well think about, well, okay, I need to rebuild my kingdom. And this is also a card of stability, so I'm glad to see that. So when it comes on the external influences, we have this Queen of Pentacles. So be very careful. We do have somebody maybe who will be a mentor of some kind, right? This also could mean that we have interference. And interference could be that there is a partner, somebody's partner, who is in the way. And there's like somebody who is very demanding. Just like this Queen of Swords that we had, first jumping reversed and then upright. Now we're having this Queen of Pentacles reversed. And equally, she's not very nice. She's not Judge Judy, right? But this one is, I want this. It's kind of like, you know, like when you see these reality shows, it's never freaking enough. How many dressing rooms do you need? You need one dressing room to charge your freaking phone? Are you kidding me? Kind of like a get a freaking grip kind of a thing. So this is going to be, as I said, redefining ourselves, right? Because this woman can be very superficial. It could be very much like into me kind of a thing. And we'll be observing this kind of behavior. I also want to mention, for those of you who really are asking here about relationships, because I'm seeing a really fundamental change over here, and that change is going to be really profound on every freaking cell of our body. Like we need to kind of like get out, and this is like only resurrection that can happen. And resurrection is like in coming back in a completely different form, in completely different format. And hence maybe somebody who otherwise will be really appealing to us and give us something that, well, I guess it will be of a value, and we will kind of like maybe like that, you know, I mean, necklace or something. But I really think we're going to start thinking about it a little bit differently, and you're just going to say, well, is this really the mentor that I want, right? Because this person is going to make you question about this choice that you have taken over here, and you fought even for this choice, and you really didn't think that you can do anything. And it's going to start to feel like, oh my gosh, am I again going through life and I'm again here, and even this is not good? Wait a minute. And then you're going to realize, yeah, this is a reason why I decided this. Yes, Tiger, how about you don't terrorize the kitty? So I finished this reading for Aquarius. Mr. Scorpio is jealous. Very jealous dog. I really have to tell you this. If somebody's petting another dog, he's going to run to this person, like throw himself on his back, and look at my belly, please rub my belly, and I love you, love you, love you. It's freaking amazing. So let's look at the hopes and fears over here. This is clearly going to be something that we need to overcome. And look at this. This is like Four of Cups. It's really forming this. Like, look, we have cups, 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 cups. And then we have earth, earth, earth. So we are bringing all these thoughts and things in the situation. So cups and pentacles are working really well together, which is really telling me it's kind of like pulling us all on some kind of like pragmatic level, right over here. So this very nice ladies are picking up very nice flowers, right? It's almost like, hey, I really want to be there. And almost like, look at these kind of like other people like looking at everything. We might be missing something that is really important. That is exactly what we are wondering, right? So keep this in mind, right? Are you going around with your head bowed, right? You have to remember, like, all the stuff. Don't be a problem. Everything that we trained as, just try to get along. We are going to put this under huge question mark, because now we are maybe observing some people who maybe didn't behave this way and did really well. We don't want to do it on their terms, but we are just realizing that we really need to be more authentic. We need to deal with our negativity. We need to deal with bad temper. We need to deal with our habits. We need to deal with, hey, we deserve rewards. And the reason why, it's kind of catch-22. We do get in a bad temper or in negativity because we are like throwing ourselves and trying to burst with our head through the wall, and it's not getting there. It's just like we suffer self-inflicted injuries. So this entire reading is basically saying, this is a switch, Aquarians. Make a switch, right? So Four of Cups is, wait a minute, do you know if you're bored, that means that you are really boring? I bet you never thought about that, right? But that's exactly what it is. We Aquarians, we are supposed to be unlimited well of creativity, unlimited well of everything interests us, even the little freaking paper that is being folded differently. Everything interests. We want everything. I bet most of you are spending lots of time on the internet. To me, this is my addiction, but it is what it is. You know, nobody's perfect. I mean, just a little bit of internet cannot hurt somebody, right? So, how about meditation? How about, you know, understanding, even if we are feeling depressed, even if we are feeling discontent, even if we are feeling, oh heck, I missed the boat again. How about thinking, okay, but I can turn things around, but I don't want to just turn them around. I want to make it mine. So what would make sense to do that? So let's see how kind of like situation actually can end with something else. Again, oh my God, we will be challenged with repeating the old patterns. I absolutely love this Knight of Swords. Lady Godiva with her sword and with justice, kind of like going through it. But it is reversed. Maybe we need to go through something else that we really need to, you know, be prepared. It's going to be, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, guys. This month will have conflicts, lots of conflicts. It's going to need lots of sobriety, lots of composure, and it's going to be really hard because they'll be hitting us where it hurt the most, where we really get triggered. This is done for a reason. Just think about it. Like, you know, like, I mean, iron is like, I mean, you're bending iron when it's hot, and this is what is going to make us hot. We will need to kind of like look in a certain situation, and maybe from completely different things, right? So make sure you're well organized. Make sure that try to remove ego from the situation, because if we don't, things are really not going to work out in our benefit. We really need to figure things out this month, right? Because look, we are coming from a situation where we feel defeated. We feel, yeah, somebody harmed us, or this is not going to end well, kind of a situation, right? So we don't necessarily need to make it worse, right? I actually want to just get a little bit of I might just want, so communication issues. The letter here is reversed. This could be that 8 of Swords that I saw before, that we are expecting to hear something from somebody, or we hear something that makes us very sad. I think for some of us, it's really going to be that we are passed on for job promotion. For the others, it's going to be that we didn't really get the job that we really wanted. Did it ever occur to you that maybe this is done for your best interest? You know, these people who argue with the people at the airport because they didn't get in the airplane. They are swearing every single swear words they can really think of, you know, telling them off, calling the managers, and then minutes later you're hearing that airplane has crashed. Isn't this like a change in the paradigm? And that is like something that I really feel needs to take place this month. So don't be in the way of the storm, because storm is going to win, right? So something might be delayed. I really think, or either the message is not going to be very favorable, right? So something, maybe some of you are waiting for invitations, some of you are maybe waiting for a proposal, maybe you are even expecting bad news. But if that's the case, if you're expecting this, that bad news is not going to come. But you know, this is really telling me, guys, we are a friendly sign, right? Like, we are getting friend here. So what do you think this really means? Yep, probably guessed it. You need to be a friend to yourself. How is that for a change? Ask yourself, am I feeding myself with nutritious food? Am I surrounding myself with people who wish me well? Am I just mindlessly engaging with his coworkers who just getting on my nerves, right? So it's going to be some kind of like fate, because this is about friendship and trust and security, right? And it's also about good advice, right? So I really think that there is a friend, because you'll be weeding a whole bunch of things out, right? And that friend this month is going to be crucial. You will not necessarily agree with this friend. This could be just even that Queen of Pentacles that is like residing over here in the environment. We might not even, want to live life as this friend does, but nonetheless, we will value the loyalty. We will value, that this person is truly trying to see what is the best for us, not to rule us, not to give us unsolicited advice or anything like that. So also learn over here, and maybe this is to some of us who might have conflicts this month, that friendship is both giving and receiving. So it was this movie that I saw, Blinded by the Light. If you didn't see it, it's kind of like really cute, where a young man is rebelling and he's telling off to his friend. And it's a really nice scene where, a neighbor observes this and he says, friends are important, don't lose them, be really careful about that. So we might actually lose some friends, but some of them have been a dead weight, in the sense that they really didn't look after our best interest. They have been rolling over us, and maybe there are going to be some kind of harsh words. The others are maybe kind of like sadden us with maybe their behavior. Maybe some of us are putting up with people who this sorrow puzzles me, right? We are putting up with people maybe who for a while are not treating us well, or maybe we are tired of their excesses. We are tired of being on the receiving end for some kind of like one reason or another, right? This also can mean that some of us are experiencing issues such as serious problems or health or money issues over here, right? So it can mean that if we encounter something that appears to be misfortune, that maybe is making us sad, that we really need to understand the arsenal that we really have. And it's going to be, oh my gosh, I have maybe one friend or two friends or three friends, wherever you have, but true friends. Some people have like million of Facebook friends, but they commit suicide because they feel alone. Don't be one of those. And I really think there's going to be cherishing and valuing, looking for a positive direction to channel your thoughts and energy. Guys, are you feeling intellectually stimulated? Because it almost like feels like maybe you have people around you with whom you really cannot talk about things that you like. When was the last time you talked about tarot with someone? Are you afraid they're going to laugh at you or tarot? I have been in those shoes myself, especially because with my profession, I really can't even say that. Well, I couldn't. Now I say, look guys, I see results. I see this as a form of therapy, art therapy nonetheless. This is beautiful, beautiful images and beautiful guidance. So why is this not valuable? And I really think that if you find that people laugh at you and ridicule you, that you're going to really start seeing a different dimension that kind of like resides within them. And maybe you're going to look for people who maybe share your interests, with whom you go out and have that hearty laugh and you say, oh my goodness, this really didn't happen in a while. So we have Wishing Well and Wizard of Awareness, 2 cards, not 1 but 2, to seal the reading. So let's see Wishing Well, because this sounds promising, right? So it says, desire is the secret impulse for life. Feel it, but let go of all attachment to ownership. Desire is the most important impulse for creating life. Now you're seeing the relationship between desire and inspiration, and sensing that moment of truth when you feel the inception of new life. It's an aha moment when everything makes sense. Perhaps you recognize a soulmate or are conceiving a baby or an idea. The wishing well card awakens you to the presence of unseen forces that enable new beginnings. Divine intelligence activates the field of possibilities where new life is co-created in a magical way. Neither you nor everyone else can know how or why this happens. It just does. To that end, you can't control the process of growth. Rather, you must step aside to be a channel for higher forces and relinquish any attachment to how this new creation should appear or when. Form your intention and take action by dropping the coin into the wishing well, and then trust in the spirit. Prepare to be amazed. So don't focus on, well, I want, William to marry me. How about, I want to be married to a wonderful man? You see, it is not the same. And the energy is basically telling the universe you really want something good for you, because maybe they are feeling, oh my gosh, how do I make this work for them? I just really don't know how to turn it around. So you might not get what you wish, but you will get what you need of kind of like stuff. So Wizard of Awareness, I think. So now we're having this repeat. Again, kind of like two things over here. So remember, it was reversed. The Wizard of Awareness comes to you in this position to warn you that too much force behind the desire for a specific outcome, as I just told you, robs you of a true and full experience. Step back. Take your energy away from your situation and focus on gratitude for the ever-changing conditions of life. Are you perhaps trying to control the outcome of something because you don't trust in your highest good? Meditate, be still, and your answer will come without any effort on your part. Be a neutral observer, and you will see how this moment is but a small marker on the map of your life's journey. So trust the process, guys. And you know that I love you. Please click, please like, please help. And if you haven't subscribed, hopefully this is going to entice you. Guys, private readings are always the best. There is like this really good special. Yeah, I do know you have to buy 3 readings, but getting 4 readings is pretty cool, and you can go with for 30 minutes. Don't forget to check your ascendant and check your moon sign, because it's a general reading. And don't forget to visit my site cattarot.ca, not only to book the reading, but to get the card of the day for any question that you might have. Thank you guys, love you, and all the best.